Alright, so it's Thanksgiving Saturday and got back from the lake. Thought I'd take a video of the garden here, and it's a great day today. It's right now it's in the mid-70s. I think it's 25 degrees Celsius, so maybe 76 Fahrenheit. This was the magnolia D.D. Blanchard that I had in the front garden last year, and it used to be about 8 feet tall. Now it's about 2.5. It pretty much the 2/3 of the top died, and the bottom sort of regrew from the original stalk right there. So this one stayed up at the campground this year before it started to leaf out again. I decided to pull it out and bring it home, and I'm going to plant it in this pot and put it in the palm hut over the winter time just to allow it the chance to grow back, and then plant it somewhere on the property next year, maybe in the front somewhere else in a more sun-filled area. Here's a boutia from the lake as well. This one spent the summer up at the lake in the ground, and now I've brought it back home, and I'm just going to keep this in the pot, and I'm going to put it in the palm hut as well. So we had our first frost, I guess you'd say. I guess we'd call it a frost. It was on Wednesday night. It got down to 3 Celsius, or probably 39, and just light patchy frost. It didn't touch the plants in any way, so I guess I'm not really going to count it as a real frost yet, since everything still is fine. Even the Majesty palm here didn't suffer any damage. Yeah, not much going on over here. I had to cut off the bottom fronds on my largest trachea. They're really yellowing and dying off, and I think it's natural that they're just, it's their time to come off. So you can see a lot more of the trunk now, which kind of looks neat. But it still just hasn't put out a ton of new fronds this year, about 3 or 4. And you can see though that it's got new spears coming out. There are 2 of them. So I think it's doing okay. Everything else here is pretty much the same. They're still continuing to leaf out with the warm temperatures we're still experiencing, and it's supposed to stay this warm. Actually, next week is supposed to be in the upper 60s. It's supposed to be in the mid-70s right till Tuesday, and probably cooling back down to seasonal the week after. So really can't complain. I've had pretty much 4 months of nice weather. Still interested to see how the Virginiana is going to do. Some of the leaves have yellowed a little bit, but a lot of them are still very, very green. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Yeah, and not much else has changed here. Somehow my fish mysteriously disappeared. I'm thinking there was a raccoon maybe that got him. That's okay. I had to get rid of them at some point anyways. Banana that I'll pull out of the ground. Again, it didn't get touched. That's why the frost really wasn't a big deal. It didn't even touch the banana. So once we do get a good frost, I'll pull that out. The Washingtonia is finally starting to do something. I think it's a little too late for that. But it's put out a full frond now, and you can see the second one here coming up, and if you look down even further you can see another one, but it's hard to tell here. So this one's going to get pulled out shortly. I'll pull it out around the time that I do the palm huts, so about 4 weeks I guess I'll be looking at doing that. And the other magnolia, Edith Bogue, looks really good. Japanese umbrella pine. You can start to see on my yard how the shadow is creeping over as the sun is starting to head further south. There's a section here of the yard that slowly starts to creep further north, the shadow. Oleander still has a couple of flowers on it. May put out a few more before we get too cold for it to flower. Haven't shown off this before. This is some leather leaf here, given to me as a seedling this year, and it's grown like mad. It's gotten pretty big. It's supposed to be fairly hardy here. It's in complete shade in the winter time, so that's supposed to help. And these green Cuba japonicas are looking a lot better now that the hot summer sun is off them. The English ivy I have too is just going nuts in the garden, so I'm just gonna let it go for now, and then in the spring I'll start cutting it all back. Castor bean that stunted its growth by putting it in a bad spot up against the fence over here. I replanted about 3 weeks ago, and it's tripled in size, but it won't have long before the first frost takes it down. Hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving weekend.